this backdrop that we are drawing for this little documentary that we are making. And Naema, you had a relationship with Kristian Siem for 10 years.
Yeah, almost.
Kristian Siem, for those of you who don't know, he's a famous Norwegian investor. He invests in shipping and offshore industry, vessels and oil.
Yes.
And can you tell us, how did you guys meet?
Well, we met when I was here studying, taking my master's degree in clinical nutrition at University of Oslo, and I was simultaneously teaching Ashtanga Mysore style at a training center which was very high class in Oslo, Majorstuen, called Resonans, and I was teaching there, and he wanted a private class, and I gave him a private class, and then he liked it so much that he asked me to teach him private, actually regularly. And I taught him private. He lived in London, so whenever he was here, I used to teach him at Resonance first and then at his house hereby. And what happened is that actually we were quite attracted to each other, but he was married, and I knew he was married, and I was quite resistant to that. And I was not even interested to be in a relationship because I was at that time into yoga. But he was very kind of pushy. Yeah, he was, and he's tried to kiss me, and I had to kind of resist him. And I actually even remember I had a long discussion that he was married. And he came with a lot of excuses that his wife is never around and all this, and that we were so attracted to each other. Anyhow, eventually I gave in. I did, and I fell in love with him. Really, I fell and we had a relationship, and because, like you said, he was very famous. And my main goal was to protect his name and his reputation. So, for a long time, it's written in even the newspapers, because we had to go out in the media about this case, because it's developed to become quite dangerous to be his, you may say, mistress for 10 years.
Is it a mistress if you have children? Two children, technically, is it?
Yeah, I have 2 children with him, and we had a husband-wife relationship.
Yeah, because I would call that a relationship.
Yes, 10 years. And I loved this man, and even when I completed my medical studies, he was the main reference. And he wrote a brilliant attest for me, because we were very close. And we really loved each other. And we tried to break up many times because it was very, very difficult, the relationship. But we were really deeply in love with each other. And we couldn't resist each other somehow. And I loved him, and I don't know what happened, but since 2017, I have not seen him.
Yeah, this was I was going to ask you. You said that this whole relationship kind of ended up in the newspaper, the national newspapers.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
it got quite.
And all the harassment.
Why is it that relationship had to end up in the newspapers?
Well, he suddenly, just out of the blue, when I told him about this professor that was after me, harassing me, and I really started to suspect that he would never let me pass the exam.
I'm just sorry for interrupting you, but that professor, just to make things clear, is Kristian Bjørø, right?
Yeah,
and this is mainly one of the main persons in this documentary.
Yeah.
And he's a professor at the University of Oslo.
Yeah. And I told him about it, and I said I have this recording of him actually harassing me on the premise of the hospital, and this is illegal, and he's asking me a lot of private questions about my children, their age, and my age, and like a lot of things that didn't have to have anything to do with the exam.
But yeah, exactly. So this was in what was the circumstances? What was the premises of this conversation you had with him?
I called up the leader of the final exam professor, which is Kristian Siem, because they had failed me on 1 point, because I had 64 and you pass on 65. And he said, no, I failed. So I had to say, can you tell me what I failed on? And he said, yeah, come to Rikshospitalet at his office upstairs there, where I actually took my exam the year after, where he failed me again. But outside there, he was going to go through my exam, and he was asking a lot of strange questions, which I realized later because I had recorded it on my phone by chance, because already I was realizing something was off. But anyhow, what happened was that in that recording, I showed it to Kristian, and he said, oh, you should go back and record again. And I said, no, I cannot do that. And we had a fight over that, and he left.
And that's kind of how you broke up?
This is how I broke up with the man I was with for 10 years. That we had this fight. He wanted me to go with the recording again. And I said, no, I don't want to, and I'm scared. And then I didn't see him.
So he kind of suggested that you would go to another go-through of the exam the next year as a kind of undercover agent, so to speak, to try to disclose the harassment further than he already did. Okay.
And also he helped me with lawyers.
And you got angry with that suggestion?
Yeah, I felt it. I was like, well, how can you say that? And I said, can't you hear how harassing he is on the recording? And he said, no, I can't hear anything. And then I got this lawyer through him, I told you, what's his name? Gaute Melos Larsen. I think that's his name. And Kristian said, you just get a lawyer, get somebody to get your exam. I will pay for it. And then this guy started being very weird, this lawyer, and didn't want to do any of the job. And I complained to Kristian about it. And I don't know what happened. When we were middle of everything, he disappeared. And then suddenly you got a phone call that he had told his wife.
Yeah, that was in September.
Yeah, so you can.
And then he called me. I'm her friend.
Yeah.
And he calls me and says that he told his family that the relationship was there and it was ending now. So so that's basically how that happened.
Yeah.
But so actually that professor is quite involved in this whole breakup, actually.
He was the reason we broke up over this, because he even tried to write a letter for me. He wanted me to give to the professor, which I didn't. Because, you know, with Kristian, he has a medal, St. Olav's.
Medal of Honor from the Royal King of Norway.
So he has a certain immunity, because when he disappeared, all this harassment started to increase even tenfolds. And they started to come after me, my children, through CPS, the police, and actually wanted to take my children. And for a long time, like I haven't seen him even when he took the DNA test.
So what's interesting, I have to say also, I went to a meeting with his lawyers by request, And in that meeting, I was bluntly honest about that you don't really understand that he just all of a sudden left and now he's talking to you only through lawyers.
Yeah.
And
also you were a very good friend with Kristian.
Exactly, for a long time. We
Yeah.
used to sit and have conversations about society and politics and these kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I considered him my good friend for many years.
Yeah.
So I was also baffled about this whole thing.
Yeah.
Seeing that they have 2 children together, it's very hard to communicate after a breakup only through lawyers. But I think they are very much afraid that his children with you one day will have to inherit all his money or something, because otherwise how would it explain the level of crime and harassment that followed?
Ever since he disappeared, they have almost daily harassed us.
Yeah.
And trying to break us, trying to destroy us financially, destroy us emotionally, destroy us mentally, health-wise. And now it's like he has so much power. Like I said, he has got a medal from the king. And now the lawyer wants isolation with me and Kristian, and only communication is through his wife.
But that's the father-in-law who said that.
Yeah.
Through the lawyers.
Yeah.
That the father-in-law, Mandy Moross, and his wife, Anne Siem, they want full isolation between Naema and Kristian.
Yeah.
That's what they said. And all the information that I was talking to the lawyers about was going through them.
Yeah.
So it's very strange, because if you look at the scenario, it's like they are being puppeteers where Kristian is a puppet. I mean, the man is 70 years old and he's getting a big old tape over his mouth from the father-in-law and wife.
Go ahead. Make a fool of yourself. And maybe you'll listen to your conscience. You did.